Good morning, everyone, or afternoon or evening for the replayers, or if you're in Romania.
Hello.
We did it. We're all here. This is such a special coffee talk with Cala and Connie because we have our dear one, Mariel, with us. So go grab your coffee. I've got mine here somewhere. Go grab your coffee and comment and let us know that you are here. And hello to the replayers. We are happy to have you as well, and let us know that you're watching, and drop us a line when you're ready. We are Emaya, and we're certified yoga teachers and life coaches. We're friends and mamas on a mission to help women connect with their passion and their purpose and their power. And today's topic is From the Mud to the Lotus, honoring where you are. And it's very special because this is the first time we are having a guest with us. And this is something I think that Cala and I were, when we were dreaming this all up, we were like, we can have like a talk show and have people come on. So Mariel,
Hey.
you are our first guest. So Mariel has been gracious enough to accept our offer. And she's going to share her insights and wisdom around honoring herself. And I'm so happy to get to be the one to introduce you because we've known each other for, I think it's around 5 years now. Yeah. And Mariel's a talented actress and writer and director. And she's a yogi and a yoga teacher. And she's that really got that determination that it takes to be a fabulous marathon runner and dedicated yogi and an actress. And she's one of our biggest cheerleaders.
Totally. I'm obsessed.
You've come to all of our retreats. You've come to all of our workshops. You're always the first. I feel like we're always like, Mariel's here. So everybody can put the face to the name.
Exactly.
And Mariel did our Back to Her program last year, which, was really important and it meant so much to us. So welcome. And we're so happy to have you. So before we begin, this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it, like, this is our community. So please engage in the conversation. You can throw some hearts down, offer questions. If we don't get to it immediately or before the coffee talk ends, you can count on Michaela and I and Mariel as well to answer your questions in the comments. So even if you're not live, that's all good. We will follow up. Michaela.
Yeah. So why did we choose this topic? Well, it's something that, we seem to be gravitating towards themes that we're either moving through ourselves or people in our circle are moving through or students and clients are moving through. And so this topic has come up a lot. For our students and for our clients and our friends and family, but also the women that are enrolling into the program have been sharing that they're kind of stuck in the mud or really needing to tap into some parts of themselves to blossom even fuller into the Lotus phase of their life or period in their life. So just really conversations around, hey, I'm moving through a hard time. My life doesn't look the way that I want. I'm literally sitting in the mud of my life. And, I have this belief that, when life doesn't look the way that I want to, or I don't have the results that I'm really working hard towards, that I'm somehow failing, or I'm somehow getting life wrong, or I'm feeling lots of shame and thinking really, kind of beating myself up with the thoughts and feelings that I'm having about myself. And so this was coming up a lot, and we really wanted to shed some light on this for those people that might have been experiencing this. So if you guys are listening through the replay, if you're here with us now, like, does this resonate with any of you guys? Do any of you also feel like you're kind of sitting in the mud of your life and feeling really bad about it? Like you're doing something wrong, or that there's something wrong with you, that this is your experience? Let us know. We want to see if that's resonating with you. So again, yeah, we want to shed some light on this to one, remind you guys that you're never alone. And this is like the power of community. This is, you know, why we brought Mariel on here too, is just sharing about our journeys helps remind us that we're not alone and there isn't anything wrong with us. This is just a part of life, right? You have the mud phase, you have the lotus phase. It's all part of the process. It's all parts of who you are, and it's all good. And yeah, I think the second thing that we want to talk about is just kind of offering a reminder, or I like to say reframe in the coaching world, you know, that living your most empowered life, we say that a lot, like living your most empowered life doesn't always feel good, right? Like sometimes you don't have the results met. Sometimes you're stretching and you're working hard and it's not happening in the moment that you want it to happen. And one thing that Connie and I and Mariel were talking about is like, yeah, in our experiences, it's like sometimes like shit has to hit the fan for you to make sense of it all and put it back together. Or sometimes you have to like kind of have a breakdown in order to put yourself back together and have this big breakthrough. Connie and I talked about this on the workshop. You know, our pain ended up becoming our purpose, which was creating Emaya. So, yeah, I just think it's a really powerful topic, and I don't think people talk about it enough. So we wanted to come on and shed that light, and we really wanted Mariel to share her story because we know her story, and it's such an inspiring one, and she's so honest and vulnerable, and you've just done a lot of work around this, and I think a lot of people would benefit from hearing from your story if you're open, Mariel.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Yeah.
This is like, oh, I'm a little nervous.
Like, I know it's weird at first, isn't it? It's weird because like you don't really have feedback.
I know. But yeah, I'm so excited. I am a super fan of Emaya. Because I just think what you ladies are doing is really important, and it has given me a lot of guidance and the tools that I needed or was missing through this hard part in my life. So I'll just get right down to it. But so the mud. So about a year ago, I experienced a huge life change in my personal life, relationship. My husband and I decided to separate, and it was really painful. I was going through an abnormal amount of emotions. And they say that you go through kind of like all the phases of grief when a relationship like this breaks apart. And it was true. I felt like a failure. I felt like, you know, how are we not making this work when people go through so much more than we are? And, you know, I was comparing what I was going through to other people, which is always, I feel it can be deadly to compare your situation to others, because it's really important to feel what you're feeling and sit in it, as we talk about, sit in the mud. And I was going through a lot of sadness and anger, and it was a lot. But there was also a sense of relief in there too, which was confusing. And anyway, so it was muddy for a while and mucky. And meanwhile, these you two lovely ladies had started this 40-day program, this pilot program last year. And I was like, oh, well, God, this sounds like something I really need right now. Like, I was like, let me just follow them and let them kind of guide me and let go. And because I was unable to be my own guide, you know, in that time. I wouldn't have been able to, you know, go to the mat every day or, you know, without a little help from my friends. But I was like, let me just follow along with them and do what they tell me. be open, I guess, is another thing. Like even though my heart was aching and it's easy to shut down and kind of go inward, I was like, you know what, let me just try to stay as open as possible and allow myself to actually just do the thing. So I found myself asking questions about what I wanted in my life and checking with my body. And I probably cried during Connie's meditations like every single time. But I let myself kind of go there and feel all the feelings. And we're all different. Like my story obviously isn't the same as anybody else's, and people handle things differently. But it just was really helpful for me in that time to give myself some care and some love. So yeah, that was like an important version of everything.
Yeah. Can I say this though? If it's okay, this just came to me. Sure. I remember during the program that like honesty was a big part of your process and your core value, and I just really admire your commitment to being honest with yourself. And I remember you were working really hard in the program, just to really do like a huge inventory of self, of like what is really true for me. And just being really honest with where you are. And I really admired that and was inspired by that. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have a question too. Maybe you can talk a little bit about, you said something like, I couldn't have done it without, you guys kind of like leading me. And I thank you for saying that. But yes, you could have, because you're very disciplined. And, I don't think it's always easy to be disciplined. And I think maybe that is what you mean. So what was it like for you? Because yoga is a bit, yoga and meditation is a big part of the program, and you've sort of done this practice before, but maybe not really like in this way. So what was it like for you to step on the mat every day and move through your flow and sit in your meditation? How was that a healing part for you?
Yeah.
Was that a healing? Was that part of your process to heal?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I
know it's a personal question.
No.
People don't get that too, right? Because it's lots of things come up on the mat. I'm sure, right?
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where it's like, when you're like, I gotta go to the gym, and you're like, and then when you get to the gym, you're like, okay, this is all right, but like getting to the gym is like the hardest part.
Yes,
like getting out the door. So I think getting to the mat or just getting to the seat for meditation sometimes is the hardest part, and then once you're there, you're like, oh, okay, So I think for me, it was like just getting myself to the mat, or, and once I was there, it was like, all right, like I'm going to do this. And even if I don't want to do this, I'm going to just try it and whatever. And usually what happens is you start to like feel the feelings and, and you're like, okay, something's happening here. So I think that was part of it too, is just having the discipline to do it. And yes, I am, like, I did have yoga. Like, it's hard too, because I feel like I do have a yoga practice already. Like I had that. So it's, for me, it's for people that don't have that already in their back pocket, it can be harder, I think.
Maybe even scary, right? Because
scarier,
I guess what my question means is, like, I can only imagine, because you're saying that you were sitting and you had all these emotions in this moment, right? From like all these feelings of grief to feeling, like you're comparing yourself to, like all the feels, like that's a big moment. So to take all of that to the mat and sit with it, I can imagine wasn't easy.
No.
And maybe you're to an extent you avoid, right? When you're feeling all these things, I think people, we avoid those feelings because we don't want to really move through them because it's painful, it's scary. You feel like you're never going to get out of it. You feel shame. You feel like all these feelings that don't feel good, but like we kind of have to move through those.
Yeah.
Or we don't, which a lot of people don't do. And then we get sick and, we get stressed out, or we burn out, or we are crying on the bathroom floor, which is what was happening to me, that I shared in the workshop.
Who are you?
But I think that that's a really important thing that that I really want us to also highlight is that we are not culturally conditioned to sit in the mud.
Right.
Right. We are taught to be very busy, fill your schedules, push, achieve, results. But sometimes the biggest achievement, the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is to sit in the mud until the mud, like you're just, and that's exactly what you did. You sat in the mud until the mud taught you what you needed to know. Right. And that makes that lotus so much more beautiful, and you can appreciate that lotus blooming, when you appreciate the mud. But I notice that people are trying to rush that process, or they feel bad about themselves if they haven't healed in like a month. Why am I not over this? It's like,
yeah.
I just want to take a moment to just call out Meg, because Meg is on fire.
Yay!
Sometimes strength is a soft surrender, Kayla, my mantra forever. Yes to our pain became our purpose. You're doing great, Mariel, she says. There's no timeline for grief. There's no end, which makes it hard to begin. Well said. So relatable. And the last thing she's saying, sit in the mud until the mud teaches you what you need to know. This is it. Or, the flip side is also maybe you would have stayed in the relationship that wasn't, serving the both of you anymore in the ways that you needed to. So I just think you're brave. And I think on so many levels, and you to watch you fight for really not always knowing, because I've known you for a long time, not always knowing exactly what was going on with you. But just watching you fight for you, Mariel. I feel emotional. It was really, really, it was really special. It was really inspiring to watch you fight for really what you wanted in your life. I'm really proud of you, and I'm happy that this all brought us together, because you're remarkable.
True. It's true. And asking that question, like, what do I really want? And you being so honest with yourself. And no matter sometimes what we want, we have to move through a little pain to get there, and honesty, and, maybe, hurting other people or hurting, expectations. But I love that it's that reframe of like, what we think is failure could also be the biggest opportunity for you and your loved ones, and the greatest gift of letting go, or stepping into the next version of what's possible for you and for everyone.
Yeah.
But Mariel, let us know, like, so you shared with us your mud. Can you let us know, like, where you're at today in your life and how you're feeling now?
There's still mud.
I think there's always mud, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I've never had a day without a little mud. Right?
And I think what Meg said too is about how grief, it's just, sometimes there's no real end. It's always this part of my life, there'll always be a little bit of pain involved in it, and that's okay. That's life.
Yeah.
This is what it's about. So I think for me, I'm still working. Like, I'm still going to the mat. I'm still taking care of myself, because I feel like that's really important. Again, it's just kind of being present and feeling the feelings, because it's still, still working through stuff, and there's still a lot of feelings involved. So it's a process. It's
Can you tell everyone that what you're doing this month?
What am I like in general, or?
I think that that's kind of a big deal. How you're
my workshop or what?
No, how you're gonna kind of like disappear from social media. And
I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so, it's like, what's happening? So, I decided to, as I'm kind of, I don't want to say wrapping up this part of the, maybe I am wrapping up part of the grieving process, but I've decided to kind of go off social media. I do a social media cleanse. I'll still be hopping onto Facebook every now and then, but I took them all off my phone, the apps. They're gone. It feels great and a little nerve-wracking. I am taking a little break from acting, but not like forever, but just like I'm taking a break from like the pressure of feeling like I have to be doing something all the time. And when it comes, in regards to that part of my life,
that's big.
It's huge. Yeah. And so that's, it was kind of scary, but I was also like, okay, because I need to focus on some personal things, and I really need to give time to those. And I'm learning. I do a lot of things, and I'm really trying to slow down and to not pile on, because I do feel like, and I think you guys have talked about this before, about sometimes like the piling on of stuff is just kind of the hiding almost in a way of what's, what's going on. I think sometimes I do that without even knowing that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm unconsciously just like doing things, piling things on. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, I'm feeling so,
I think we come from the generation though, that productivity equals busy. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think we're all having to realize and learn like, we're in habit to do that. So I think it's changing.
Yeah.
Meg has a really good question that I think we'll dive into. But she says, how do we handle it when the other people in our life take our mud sitting personality personally? So we're sitting in the mud and they're taking that personally. That's a great question. It takes time. And sometimes people who love us take it as a rejection that we can't give what we used to. I'm still learning how to communicate that without feeling very guilty. That's a great question.
That is a great question.
I think I think we can all touch upon it, but I think, my thing is just, I think part of sitting in the mud is when we say honoring where you are and having boundaries with your process. And lovingly communicating that process to people, and saying, this is what I'm experiencing in the moment. I don't know how long this is going to last. Here's what I need from you to be a support for me. And then just check in with them. And then, and I think, I don't know, Meg, who specifically you're talking about too, but I mean, this comes up a lot in my marriage. That can be a little bit confusing. So I think it's just saying, and while I'm sitting here, how can I love you while I'm in the mud? You know what I mean? So we're kind of compromising and nurturing each other. But I think boundaries is huge.
I think too, when people are moving through things, and these other people are taking things like, well, let's just call them like they're taking them personally, that camp, I think that sometimes it's hard for that camp to see us, let's say, in a moment of struggle and energetically that like they're not used to. Number one, maybe that makes them uncomfortable. Maybe number two, they recognize something in your struggle, in a struggle they're having, and yet you're dealing with it, but they're not. So it's like projection, like they're, and I think this is a nice lesson and sort of leads us into one of the things, Kayla, that we're about to kind of close with is like, how can we learn from our experiences to be like more open and non-judgmental, and we don't know what people are moving through. So how can we be gentler with our thoughts and like instead of judging or or being taking things personally, like it's not about me, it's about them and what they're going through. How can I support them? So I think there's like two sides, right? I love what you said, Michaela, and offering Meg that up, but like how else are we showing up for am I making sense? I feel like I'm talking in a circle.
No, I think there's two camps to nurture, right? There's honoring yourself, nurturing yourself where you are. And then how do we love the people that are in the mud? You know, how do we love ourselves when we're in the mud? How do we love the other people when they're in the mud? So we have some good points. So let's talk about, Connie, do you want to share how you can support yourself better when you're in the mud? Yeah.
So yes, you can honor your feelings. So when you're in the mud, how do you support yourself? Because it's a difficult place to be. You can journal, write down your feelings, honor your feelings by writing them down. You can sit with them, breathe into them, like meditation or taking a walk and really just reflecting on your feelings and trying not to change them or control them, just letting them be what they are. Talk to them, talk to your feelings. What, if anything, do they want you to know? I love that one. You know, what can I learn from this moment? I'm feeling this. I don't like it. What can I learn from you? Cry until you can't cry anymore. I think crying or, really letting your emotions, however they're going to show up, honor that. Sometimes it's anger, and I'm learning about anger and how to, let like that is a beautiful emotion, and you can learn a lot from it. So how you use it is an important thing to.
One thing about that I want to just add to, we're talking a lot about chakras in Back to Her program. So a lot of times the chakras, the energy system in the body, if you're not expressing the emotions, they get stuck there. And then when they get stuck there, you're not moving that energy, and that can manifest into injury or illness or, things that we don't want. So I love this idea of like, just cry until you can't cry anymore. It's like, let that emotion wash over you, or punch a freaking pillow if you're angry. I don't know. Just get it out of the body as much as you can.
I've totally done that.
Or screaming.
I love a good kickboxing class, girl. Like, you gotta get it.
Feels good. How else can you honor yourself? Dialing up the self-care. It's like my favorite. Going to get a massage, acupuncture, see a healer. There's all kinds of healers out there that really do beautiful work, cleansing the chakras, Reiki, moving the energy. Or how about a good old-fashioned getting your hair done or mani-pedi? Move your body. I think moving your body helps you to move through your emotions physically. And asking for support, guys. You don't have to do this alone. You've got, I'm hoping that you've got one person in your life that you can totally count on. And if not, here we are for you to create a circle around you. So does that resonate with you guys? Are you, if there's another way you like to support yourself when you're feeling stuck in the mud, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, I love that. And going back to what Meg was talking about is like, how can we take better care of people that are in the mud? Oh, another one, let's just add to this one. When you're in the mud, I think communicating those boundaries, right? Like, okay, I'm in the mud. There's people coming in and out of my life that may not understand this. Like, what are the boundaries there that you need to support your healing, and communicating them lovingly to the people? This is what I need. I'm going through a hard time. This is how you can help me. This is how you can love me through this experience. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I think that's an important thing, because people that aren't in the mud get impatient. They're like, come on, let's go. But you can't. That doesn't feel good. So how can we be better friends to people that are in the mud? Some of the things that Mariel and Connie and I came up with, and comment to us what you think too, is, this whole advice thing, really just, I feel like, is a way to hurry up and solve the problem and get that person out of the mud, right? It's a symptom of that. Like, we can't be vulnerable for too long, right? We can't feel things for too long. That's not safe.
That's also discomfort.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're uncomfortable, you start to talk and give advice.
Yeah. So what we're saying is listen, right? So like, be okay with, like, you're not there to solve their problem. It's not your job to pull them out of the mud. It's your job to listen and to hold their hand and to say, I see you, I witness your experience, and I'm here in any way that I can help you. I'm not here to change it, but I'm here to share and witness and be here however you need me to be. That's a huge one. And I think we can all do a better job with that for sure.
Yeah, I just want to hop in and just say quickly that is really hard, but I have learned and noticed over the past couple of months, holding space for people, they will start to open up more if you just listen and respect that silence. I feel like human beings get really like uncomfortable in silence and just not knowing what to say. I have to say something, but like I feel like people open up, they just start to open up more in the silence. So it's great.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And I think I've noticed sometimes that it's also kind of like consistently checking in too, in a way that's not like listening. Cause I've had lots of like family and friends that are going through like tremendous grief. And there were some days when they were like, I don't want to talk. And then there were some days where they were like, thank you so much for calling me. Like, I really feel like I need to share. So I think it's like consistently checking in and saying, you know, how are you doing today? How are you doing in this moment? How can I support you in this moment? Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes, they'll tell you. And then I think really surrounding yourself with people that love you and lift you up and aren't there to try to like change you, I think is that's consistently an important thing, right? Like, what is that saying? I'm forgetting it. But basically the people you surround yourself with is like one of the most important decisions that you make. And just making sure that you find your support and you use them. And that we show up and be those people to the people that are in the mud, because you know what? I mean, this is the nature of life. This is the human experience. My mud's right around the corner. It's waiting there, and that's not something for me to be scared about or worry about or try to control my way out of. Mm-hmm. It's part of the process, right? It is part of being alive, just, and then I think the older we get, the more that we have the experience, the more that we can begin to appreciate the mud when we're in it. It's like, damn, I'm going to look like a real fine Lotus after I get through this experience,
I think the sooner we can get to that, right? I think that's where the empowerment comes, because I think sometimes the mud can hold you down so much that you get stuck in the victim and you start becoming really unhappy, and, you start to live opposite your light, So letting, things go with the flow, surrounding yourself with people that will lift you up and really work hard at moving through it and peeling back the layers and doing all the work is worth it. Because in the end, you get through it and you're better and you're more connected and you're more alive and you find more joy.
Yeah. I love it.
I think
Mariel, do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, I actually have this quote that I thought was really apropos for this conversation that I would love to share with the group. But this is a quote that I love in a book called The Way of the Happy Woman by Sarah Avant Stover. And in it she says, sure, outer habits do matter a great deal, but ultimately health's an inner state of being. It's the ability to be with yourself and with whatever life brings you. It's having an open-hearted presence and a willingness to trust that whatever's in the way is the way.
Whatever's in the way is the way.
Yeah.
The only way out is through. Yeah. I love it.
I loved it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Send that to me. I want to write that down.
I will. Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mariel.
Thank you, girls. I hope,
Yes.
I hope I did a good job.
You did great. This was wonderful. This was a nice little coffee. I've done my coffee. I kind of want more. Hi, Miss Lori. Lori's just joining us. Don't be sorry. It's okay. You can watch the replay.
Yeah. Speaking of, as you guys are watching this replay, please comment. Let us know how you honor yourself in the mud. How can you lovingly support yourself and other people that are in the mud? We would really love to know and hear your thoughts.
Definitely.
So, happy weekend almost, everybody.
Yay, we did it Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Whatever is in the way is the way. Yes, amazing work, Mariel. That's from Meg. We love you, Meg.
Love you, Meg. Thank you, ladies, for having me. This was awesome. This was super fun.
We'll have to do it again soon.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Take care.
Bye.